So anyway, that's my little goof for the week. Tammy and the T-Rex was not the greatest movie ever made. Um,
I
and one of
I
my
just like you did something that Steve asked you to do, and I'm so proud of you for doing that. But
I
also, I understand all of your anger at Steve.
no, it's okay. I'd already watched like two reviews on it. I think it's just that it's a movie that's really weird for a lot of reasons. Like the least of which was apparently the director. He met a guy in South America who had an animatronic T-Rex, and the guy said, "Yeah, I'm shipping this up to America." And the director guy was like, "I'd love to have this in a movie." And he said, "Well, if you can think of a way to put it in a movie, you got 2 weeks." And he was like, "Oh shit!" And he somehow got money together, like in 2 weeks. Like had a pitch. Like he literally went and pitched this meeting or this idea, and there must have been a group of people who listened to it and then said, "Yeah, that sounds great. We should totally do that."
And I'm having trouble getting 15 viewers for what I consider to be a pretty fucking entertaining live stream
I
once,
was actually going to bring up the
twice, or
fact that I've
three
had a
times a
hard time
week.
finding a job, but yeah, your little shit thing about 15 viewers, yeah, sure, whatever.
Okay,
Yeah,
pity party.
my pity party is going to be great.
I was trying to
Uh,
keep things lighthearted.
yeah, it's like that was like probably one of the more like interesting and yet weird facts
Just
about the
want to be
movie.
there for that conversation where, yeah, I got an
Yeah,
animatronic T
Yeah.
Rex.
yeah, yeah.
I've got this animatronic T Rex on ice.
Like, no, he's just he like walks into some dude's like he has like this warehouse, and he's like, "Oh my god, it's a cool statue of a T-Rex." And the dude's like, "It's animatronic. Check this out." Bert, 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 bert. And he's like, "I would love to put that in a movie." And the funny part is, it's like a few years after this, Jurassic Park would open up.
Actually, just think about that sentence with Steven Seagal's voice of,
I've been
I'd love
Yeah,
to
working
put
with
that in a movie.
I've been
with
working with
the
animatronic T
animatronic
Rexes for like
T-Rexes.
27 years.
52 years. That one right there is called we call that one Tony the T-Rex.
That one's called Choppers.
That one's called Chompers because you
Look at those
chomp people.
look at those
Look at those
chompers.
teeth.
Look at those teeth. Huge.
God. Some
I
other
would
guy didn't.
Aikido those teeth though. Welcome to the Save versus Poison podcast, the podcast dedicated to gaming, general geekery, and enduring sobriety in an ever maddening society. With your host Will and two guys that probably live under his stairs. If you're an addict, know an addict, or are just interested in exploring the outer mysteries of geekery, you're in the right place. Without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to the Save vs. Poison podcast, everybody. My name is Will. I'm your host. It's season 4, episode 16. Coming at you from the new studio down in the basement instead of locked away in my wife's clothing closet. I'm very excited to be here. What?
The clothing closet.
The clothing closet. Yeah, it's different. I have a food closet. There's the clothing closet. There's a cleaning supply closet. There's all sorts of closets throughout the house, right? You might call them a pantry, Steve, who I didn't introduce yet, but it's a food closet, all right? That's what it is. Go look at it. You open it up. It's a bunch of food. If anything else was in there, you would call it a closet. Am I wrong? No. It's a food closet. You son of a bitch.
Clothes closet.
I was in the clothes closet, yeah. Well, it's better than just saying I was in the closet, all right? People might get ideas. Ideas, Steve. Anyways, since everybody knows you're here already, you jackass. Joining me tonight, he once tried paying for a lap dance using Bed Bath & Beyond coupons, asking the question, well, how do you define beyond? After his third lap dance, he was asked not to patronize He was asked not to patronize lap grind number 1 AOK ever again. He's our friend Steve. Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm well.
I just love. No, go
I
ahead.
kept asking them to accept the coupon so they could fill up their closets.
Absolutely, 100%, man. Absolutely, their clothing pantry. How's
Their
that?
clothing and pantry.
What if we switch it to a clothing pantry?
So much beyond.
Welcome to my clothing pantry. I just love that it took them 3 lap dances before they were like, "You're gonna have to leave, sir." I love
I'm
that you were
surprised she was able to pay for the first 2 dances.
Yeah,
They were really good coupons.
Yeah.
They were like,
well, they're on heavy cardstock. They've got great, bright, big blue lettering.
it wasn't until the last one, which wasn't very much off. That's why.
Oh,
That's
did
why I
you use the 20%ers on the first 2 lap dances
Yeah.
and then
After
tried
that,
to
it
use
was
a
like
10%er?
It was like a $5 off.
Oh,
Now.
Steve, shame on you. You son of a bitch. Those are working girls and guys.
I got cheap.
You did. You got cheap, you son of a bitch. Also joining us tonight, he has spent the last 3 years trying to find a tattoo artist that will put Steven Seagal's face down in his party zone in an effort to set expectations amongst his lady friends. His quest continues as no tattoo artist was that cruel to women. He's our friend Tiki. Hey Tiki, how's it going, man?
Hey. Yeah, the plus side is Steven Seagal. He's been dealing with men's crotches for like 52 years now.
That's true. He has. He's been down there. I
Yeah.
love the idea of the tattoo being there, and the older that he gets, the more like pubic hair that goatee looks.
I was thinking actually like just basically trying to comb out the pubes straight and then pull them into some sort of ponytail.
Okay, that would work better.
The hardest part is definitely the widow's peak, but
That's so good. Like you put a scrunchie in it.
yeah.
So speak.
That's so good, dude. I like that very much. Awesome. How the heck are you guys? Steve, you first.
I'm good.
Yeah?
Relatively good.
Relatively good. You said you had, in pre-ramble, you said you had a meh weekend.
Yeah, well, I had an up and down weekend. Helped my in-laws move some furniture around, which seems to have aggravated something in my elbow, which is the downside. I didn't mind helping. It was just my elbow's been bothering me, and because I'm a whiny little baby.
Baby boy.
Yeah.
Which elbow?
My right.
Your me time elbow?
Primary? Yeah, is it your me time elbow or?
No, that's so we're still good.
Okay,
switch hitter on that.
So it's the stranger.
Switch hitter.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's the stranger elbow. Okay.
Stranger. Yeah, it's annoying because as it turns out, you use your elbow a lot.
Well, it turns out.
I don't think so. I straight arm everything.
I'm actually more
It makes high fiving a little bit weird.
It makes drinking things a little on the challenging side.
It does. I'm trying right now. I wish you guys could see this.
Like
Unfortunately, radio is yeah. I just tip my
whatever
head back.
gets in.
Gravity does the work. Tiki, how are you, man?
I'm more of a wrist and thumb guy, so not really elbow as much.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, I'm all right. Yeah. Not much going on my end.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cheers. Did you get out this weekend? Did you get to ride the bike one last time before the weather starts to turn real shitty?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll ride it even when the weather turns kind of cold. So.
Yeah. That's not surprising. That's not surprising at all. Well, good. It's been a pretty like suburban eventful week. So not actually eventful. Suburban eventful. The basement it's like 99% done. The only thing we're missing is a shower door for a shower we probably won't ever use, but it's nice to know that it's there. It's like a condom. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right? Or an animatronic T-Rex, maybe.
You need that.
You need that?
Yeah.
Would you call it Grimlock?
Possibly.
Yeah, you would. You know you would. Don't lie.
Or I'd call it T-Rex.
And Tanny. Tanny would be...
Tanny. I'd call it Tanny.
You'd call it Tanny. Just to fuck with the Tanny and the T-Rex. Tanira. Nice. So yeah, just moving the rest of the stuff down to the basement was this week and this weekend, and it's been a lot of work. It's worth it, but it's been a lot of work, and it's been trying to do that while trying to juggle schedules and, kids' sporting events and social stuff with the kids and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. I'm feeling a little brain fried today. I wanted to get a nap in earlier today, but that didn't happen. So that's something Ticky's got a one up on me. You got a nap in today, didn't you, buddy?
I did.
You did. I bet it was good.
It felt great.
Yeah. Did you wake up refreshed, or did you have that like sort of like nap grogginess?
Nah, I've still got a headache.
Still got a headache? Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, these things happen.
Shit.
Shit.
That's all I got.
Okay.
So, pretty. Other than that, pretty uneventful. I did get out to play some of the new Infinity game that I purchased while I was drunk years and years and years ago, but finally got to put in together and found a miniature game that is complex and super, super interesting. I think I talked a little bit about it last week, where the setting is kind of cyberpunk meets Star Trek, which is really fascinating. Like how you get from the dystopia of cyberpunk to the utopia of Star Trek, and how those two things mingle. That like they've done a really good job of crafting a world that feels like, but for a few little twists of fate, technology, and spatial anomalies, you could kind of see it kind of happening. Like they set up the body politic in that universe pretty freaking pretty along lines that seem like they could exist, but for a few little detail changes. So that's kind of cool. It was kind of, and it was fun. It was fun to get out, fun to meet a couple of new folks who were gracious enough to stay late and teach me the game, and it was good. It was good. But that's what I've done socially the last week. That's about it. Cheers. Yeah. Speaking of dead air, my name is Will, and I'm an alcoholic.
My name's Sticky, and I'm an alcoholic.
My name's Steve. I'm not an alcoholic, but I'm choking. Sorry,
Steve.
Yeah.
Come back to us, buddy. That couldn't have been your original psyop.
It was not.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. That was weird.
You okay?
I'll imagine I'll survive.
Was like, all right, so I gotta ask, did the dead air lead you to a moment where you're like, all right, we're gonna kick the drama up a little bit?
No, like
dang,
I had
here,
muted right before
me.
you called out the dead air to start coughing, and then like you went into that joke, and I was like, ah, fuck. So I tried to rush back, and yeah, that didn't work well.
Okay, all right. You want?
But what I was gonna say,
you want to do that again?
No, let's keep going.
Just keep it rolling.
Play where it lies.
Okay. We're live. Okay, all right.
Exactly.
We're going.
Can't edit this. I am not an alcoholic, but my wife did refer to as a spider as rude this morning. So
she referred to a spider as
being rude.
As just being rude. What did the spider do? Did the spider like steal your newspaper?
It landed in her water, and it just like hung out on the surface tension. Like it just hung out on the top of her water there for a while.
Okay.
And so this rude spider was apparently.
Don't you think it's a bit of
upsetting.
a dick move that your wife was drinking his pool?
I mean, if it had always been her pool, yes.
Her pool? You think it was a lady spider?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fat bottom spiders, you make the rockin' world go down. I don't know. Okay.
It's weird, man.
How does a non-entomologist check the sex of a spider? I don't know.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, please let us know. Like, follow, and subscribe.
You know, it begs the question of how is it everybody came by to see that stupid pig in Charlotte's Web and nobody once thought, hey, that spider is spinning shit in English.
Yeah. Nobody thought to.
Nope.
To capture and study that strange freak of nature.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the problem was that it was specifically English and not like another language.
Yeah,
was our issue.
That That would have been funny. Like you show up and it's in like Japanese kanji, and they're still like, "Oh, I don't understand what's going on here. That looks really interesting. Time to slaughter the pig."
Yeah. But like, why were like that pig is really special? It's like, well, that spider's web says it's special. You got to think, well, yeah, but that spider's web says the pig is special. Like, I'm sorry, I think that it's kind of maybe it's that right there is a definition of America's like ability to focus on the news and the media is like not actually understanding what's really amazing about a story or what's really interesting, but instead focusing on all this other bullshit.
Do you know how stupid I feel right now that I never thought of that? like I just took it as for granted that Charlotte's Web was just a childhood story of mine. I never looked at it critically. God damn.
Well, there you go, dude.
I
hope that's not the reason you get driven to drink, but
no, because that's not going to make me smarter. that won't help the situation. Once again, alcohol does not help the situation. All right. Anybody that's out there right now that thought to themselves, how are they not focusing on the literate spider? Please get in contact with the show. We'd love to have you on and find out what your Mensa score was. Like, seriously, I can't believe oh my God, we don't look at things critically enough in this country. Tiki, did you think of that on your own, or did that come to you somewhere else?
It just came to me a minute ago.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
God damn it.
Well, don't feel bad. It's not like he called it out immediately. He just said a minute ago.
No,
It's not like he's had this in his pocket like the first time he saw it.
Yeah, it's not like I was in like, second grade or whatever, and I was like, hey, I got a question.
Yeah, you're like,
excuse me,
teacher bitch.
Isn't it a bit more suspicious or amazing that a spider is literally writing messages in English
that humans can understand?
And I don't want to sound like a dick, but they're also grammatically correct.
I don't want to sound like a dick.
Which we're talking like at least an 8th grade level at this point in time.
Yeah, at least.
Nobody thought about that.
Nobody thought about that.
And then when I don't know, there's like so many things about that movie. And you're like, and then she releases all of her eggs and all of her kids go flying out, and you're like, oh my God, it's like Anasazi. It's the spider god who's gonna like go out and create all these intelligent spiders who are gonna go wreak havoc throughout the world.
Wait, Neil Gaiman didn't write that book, right?
Yep.
No. Charlotte's Web, not Anasazi.
No.
I know Anansi's Boys was written.
No, Neil Gaiman did not write Charlotte's.
I'm just making sure. Okay, all right. I'm just making sure. I don't remember. It's been a minute.
I think we watched the cartoon or something like that in school, and it was like, yeah. It's
remember that damn rat.
The rat man. A fair is a veritable smorgasbord. Board. Fuck.
Well, you brought that on yourself.
I know.
E.B. White.
E.B. White. Okay, all right, good. Not Neil Gaiman.
No, I think Neil Gaiman would have been a little young and a bit too British.
Maybe.
Because the British would have actually asked that to begin with.
Well, no, I think at the end of it, I think you just would have had a postscript that said, and now, to all of my American readers, please recognize British superiority when you were unable to parse the fact that a spider could write the English language.
Yeah, I mean, it was just,
rope.
It's called Charlotte's Web, and it's about a fucking pig.
True.
And then nobody ever thinks, yeah, Charlotte's Web is actually kind of amazing.
That's true. But, there's also, like, you get, like, movies like The Last Samurai, like, and people thinking that that's Tom Cruise. It wasn't Tom Cruise's character. The Last Samurai was about Ken Watanabe's character. It just so happened that we needed a Western perspective to be able to understand some of the fineries of Japanese feudal systems.
In order to make the movie palatable for Americans, we had to make one of the characters white.
Yeah.
I didn't need that.
You didn't need that? Well, I didn't need it either, but, it was still a good movie.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, I mean, they were... Yeah, I mean, yeah. Without going too far into it, I think that Tom Cruise's character, Ken Watanabe's characters and all of them, they were actually, like, historically even less successful against the modern military than they were in the movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
they got, like, slaughtered so bad. I don't think they killed anyone. They were like just riding around on horses getting shot. Like
Oh, it makes for good fiction, but it's not like, these are not accurate portrayals of history.
So I saw on just a total random tangent here. Let's take this further down
Yeah,
this
let's
rabbit
No,
keep
hole.
going. Yeah.
psyop some more. Let's go.
So
Yeah.
I
This is content, baby.
remember seeing the movie. Oh God, what's the one with Brad Pitt as Achilles?
Troy.
Troy.
Troy,
Yeah.
thank you. So I saw that with a group of friends, and one of the dude's girlfriend, as we coming out, goes, that wasn't very historically accurate.
No.
Yeah, that was my reaction.
Was
No.
it everybody with the
No, it
British
wasn't.
accent that did it for you? Is that
Or is
how
it,
it worked?
or was it the idea that the whole story was written down by a blind poet? Not even written down, actually, just recited by a blind
recited,
poet.
yeah.
Yeah. Can you show me
Um,
the documentary that it was based on?
Yeah.
yeah, shit.
Historically
It didn't follow the Iliad close enough for you.
I don't know. Do you guys remember Bloodsport? This sounds like something I said when I watched Bloodsport for the first time when I was like 11 years old.
that it
Bloodsport
wasn't
with
historically accurate.
No. It was like Jean-Claude Van Damme is in it, and
Yeah.
But
Totally young.
but he's like doing the training montage, and like this eagle flies by with like the flute music, and I looked at it, and I'm like, my 11-year-old brain's like, oh man, this is so spiritual. It's like the same sort of stupidity, except for you did that with adults.
Now, Bloodsport didn't have that training montage. Are you thinking Kickboxer?
Aren't they the
I
same
am thinking
movie?
Kickboxer. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry. They all blur together, man. It's all
Kickboxer.
it's all
the same
one
movie?
1980s
No,
big gigantic
no,
pectorals
because-
Belgian helicopter orgy in my head.
Because
actually-
there's a difference.
Fuck.
One, Bloodsport is Frank Duke's made up fairy tale about
Yes,
something he apparently
yes.
did in China, and two, Kickboxer has the dancing scene of Jean-Claude Van Damme in
That does,
suspenders and
yeah.
high hip pants.
Yeah, getting drunk on the local wine and then doing the
And
splits
then
and punching a dude in the balls.
doing some dancing,
Doesn't
man.
he always do the splits and punch some dude in the balls? It's like
That's
Like he does
it's
that
not
for
a Jean-Claude
breakfast.
Van Damme movie without it. I mean,
that's why Johnny Cage is based off of Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, there's a whole Google it, everybody. It's an amazing dancing scene. It's so good.
It is a really good dancing scene. He has wonderful Belgian rhythm.
Yeah, it's
Belgian rhythm, everybody. God. Oh,
yeah.
that movie. Maybe I don't like my childhood because of that particular genre of film. Like looking back on how cringe all of those movies were. Oh, maybe that's it. That could be it. The trauma that led to me being an alcoholic is all of the 80s and 90s schlock that I watched.
No, that's not why I'm an alcoholic.
Your garden is your garden, buddy. You get to
That's
you
true.
get to
You're
get to
right.
tell what
You're
your
right.
trauma is.
I'll trim it
independent of
however I
mine.
want. If I want to turn it into a ponytail with a widow's peak, that's
You
what I'm gonna
can. You 100%. I endorse it. Are you kidding? Go to town,
do.
brother.
It could be some of the only dark hair left in my body, to be honest.
Yeah.
Getting that old. So where were we? Oh yeah, something alcoholic.
Yeah. Check in with the sobriety thing.
Yeah. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here or whatever. It's not for
Fine.
JCVD moments.
We'll just do what you want to do.
I feel like it's what the format and the fan demands. I other than this being the season of the beers that I love the most in the world, I'm okay. I'm doing all right. I'm I think the thing that I'm most struggling with right now is not anything craving related. It's so the things that I do that are important to doing or to staying sober for me are the Twitch stream, the podcast, communicating, right? Well, the communicating, that's not been a problem. My wife checks in pretty regularly, and I always feel like I can talk to her about, any of this stuff at any time. But because the schedule has gotten so tight, like I missed putting out the YouTube episode of last week's podcast on Friday. And that's not something like I've been doing that now for 3 months without missing anything. So I feel like I'm starting to lose a little bit of momentum when it comes to putting out content or to hopping onto the stream every night, just because there's so much that's going on. And while I want all of that to be a high priority, I also feel like I may be stretching myself a little bit then. With some of this stuff, and with the ever looming presence of the job thing coming up, which is a good thing. I'm not saying it's not a good thing, but it is a stressor. It definitely puts me in a mindset where I'm like, okay, all right, so what's got to give? What do I need to refocus on? What do I, what can I delegate? What can I parse out? Is there anything that's appropriate like that for me to do? And if I don't, and I start slipping enough, is that going to mean that when I do start having cravings, I'm not doing the work full time like I have been over the last 2 years, to make sure that I'm staying in a place where I'm sober? So that's where I'm at. So no problems with like cravings or anything, just a little bit of worry because I'm starting to feel a little overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that I've got going on as far as putting out content and stuff. So yeah. Tiki, how about you, man?
Yeah, I'm just still stressed from work related stuff. Trying to find work.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm all right. Yeah. I don't really have anything to report. I haven't had any temptations. I haven't had any real desire to drink.
Okay.
Yeah, just kind of moving right along.
So I got asked, was your therapist, that was through your insurance at work, or were you paying for that out of pocket?
It was through insurance. Yeah,
Okay.
so I haven't talked to her in a bit.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's actually it's a bit of a put down or put out or whatever. It's
Yeah.
the affordable insurance is not as affordable as one might think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's about that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough, man. Steve, you have anything tonight?
Oh, a potential. This is not like major or anything. I've been invited to a happy hour for the dads of my child's class,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. We've talked about how I don't have a problem with the alcohol. That's not the issue.
Yeah.
It's for me. It's actually the more the social thing that I'm like, I don't know. I want to do this.
They're gonna find out you're weird.
Well, I don't exactly hide that.
Yeah, that's
I'm not. That's the least of my worries.
I knew that about 3 minutes into talking to Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of like I've met like one or two of them. I don't know. I just don't know if these people are like my people, so I don't know that I really want to go do this.
All right, so I may I interject?
Please,
a little
that's
bit?
why I brought it up.
I totally understand where you're coming from. Like, my kids have friends, and their friends have parents, right? Surprise, surprise.
Yes.
It is not every single one of those parents, though, that I'm interested in spending any extra time with. There's at least one family where at least one of the parents bothers the living shit out of me. Like, I am trying so hard to live a less cynical, more positive life. In maybe not so much in terms of like of humor, but definitely in terms of like how I'm trying to treat people in general. Like, I am trying to live uncynically. And there's this one parent of these two really, really sweet, sensitive, kind children that my two boys really like hanging out with, who is just an absolute fucking downer. Like, this person is such an angry... I don't understand how they can be so negative towards things that they're like that their kids are doing, and not think that their kids are gonna turn out like happy and well adjusted. Like that's if you put negativity out around your kids,
You're
that's
gonna
what
get
they
it
soak
back,
up.
yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
that's what they're gonna put out. Like, it's okay for you to like express anger or frustration, but it's really, really important that those things be put into a context around your children. But when your kids, when all they see is just you being a dick for no good, solid reason that is explained to them, that's what they're going to turn in. That's what they're going to fixate on.
You're not inspiring a lot of confidence in me wanting to go meet these people.
I don't think that you should if you don't want to. So first of all, I don't think you should if you don't want to. Right? Like
I feel like see, so that's the thing.
time is
time
like,
is so limited. Yeah.
time is so fucking limited. I mean, if you want to give it like a one shotter
like I
and
do need to give it
see
like
what happens.
But at least just from what I've met, I'm just like, I just don't think like we're gonna really have a lot in common.
Yeah.
For one, I'm on a sobriety podcast, and you're trying to get me to go to a happy hour.
I don't think that's so.
No,
That's not an appropriate
joke.
reason not to.
That was clearly a
like
joke.
okay, good, because like. I mean, if
Like
you
I said,
really want,
I
if you
handle
want
it
to
well,
use
so.
that, if you want to use that to them, you go right ahead. But don't like
You
throw
guys
that at
give
me.
me my excuse. Like,
Oh, dude, I use my
you're
wife
the version
as an excuse
of
for
I got a
literally
baby,
everything.
I can't go do that.
Oh, my wife says she doesn't like it when I go over to your house and talk about
Can't go
how
do
nice your
that.
carpet is. I can't do that. That'd be terrible.
That sounded like a weird euphemism, and I doubt my
know.
wife would like that.
What horrible carpet you have. So, yeah. All right.
So yeah, that's my thing.
Okay,
Just
okay.
kind of mildly dreading some social interaction that
That you don't want to be a part of. I get it. I don't know. Like, you might find one or two people in that group that's interesting. I just don't understand why you would, like, why not a barbecue or why a happy hour?
Yeah, I don't know.
That feels, I don't know, weird, forced. I don't know. It
Forced.
does
It
sound
feels
weird.
a little forced.
Yeah, it feels a little bit forced. Like, what everybody likes? Drinking.
Drinking, yeah.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to get together because the only
Well, and what if,
chain
like,
that binds us is our
What
children
if
are in the
there's
same
some other
class.
dads in this group who are sober who are like, yeah, I ain't going to a happy hour.
I mean, they're like, 1 in 4 or 5 probably. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
So yeah, that's that.
All right. Well, I wish you luck navigating that one there, buddy.
I'll let you know if and when it happens.
Thank you. If you need to pull a ripcord and have me come get you, you can just start acting drunk and be like, my sober friend's gonna come get me. Meh.
You had like a lemonade. I'm drunk.
Shut up! I'm drunk. Don't tell me how to live my life. And then puke on their shoes. Blah.
Blech.
Cheers. Okay. All right. Cool. Good shares tonight, everyone. For sobriety talk, I want to talk a little bit about taking stock of where you are and where you could have gone. So my wife and I are in a local grocery store not long ago, and like I've said, it's the time of year when the beer is the best beer, in my opinion. It's all of the super malty, delicious, bread-like German beers that became almost an obsession for me. And of course, they're selling them in those local grocery stores. Now, we talked about the whole, walking past the beer section at the grocery store and how I've basically inured myself to that. I recognize that it exists. It's there. It's like a landmine, but I know where the landmine is, so I can avoid it. But while we were walking around, big display right in front of me, and I'm like, oh, I like that beer. Kind of wistful, a little bit sad, but in general, just kind of noting that it existed and then moving on. And my wife goes, well, I mean, yeah, you could have that, but like, look how far you've come. And I thought that was really kind of a cool moment. Like, when you get past the first couple of months of sobriety where things are really, really difficult and you start making headway on following through on the decisions that you made earlier to start, maybe start exercising, maybe start trying to keep better acquaintance with your friends, maybe start making amends to friends the way that, we kind of have done on this podcast now, and at least in one explicit instance. And then thinking about where those decisions have gotten us now, recognizing that that's a better place than where we would be if we had just kept on drinking. I think that if I had kept on drinking by this time, I probably wouldn't be around anymore. I probably would have sued. Probably. I think that my wife would have lasted maybe another year before seeking to get out of our relationship, and I think from there would have been a big gigantic spiral towards me ending my life. So this is one of those moments where I think it's really, really important to just take stock. If you're in recovery and you're not recognizing the strides that you've made towards a more sort of, I hate the word self-actualized, but a more self-actualized life where you have, maybe set some goals for yourself that you're now able to achieve because you don't have your addiction constantly sabotaging you. I think that that's a really, really good thing to hold on to and to remind you that that's one of the reasons that staying sober into the future is so important for you. So yeah, that's what I got. Any thoughts on that, Tiki?
Yeah, I don't know where I'd be, to be honest. I think that I'd be, I don't think my situation would be too different. I think I'd be a lot more isolated.
Yeah.
And that was the main thing with me, was I was basically becoming more and more isolated as it went.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's pretty much my main thought on it. I'm in a better place right now, like physically and definitely emotionally. I think, yeah, it's better to focus on that. I do that sometimes though. Thinking about, I could go and, I wanted to go drink, then it's the thought that, well, I would undo the things that I've done so far.
Yeah.
And that'd be a very big disappointment. So I've actually worked pretty hard to get to where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of the extent of it, really, is here's where I am. If I look at where I was, if I look at where the path that I was pursuing, yeah. I sometimes think, I sometimes go further back than that and think, what if I'd quit sooner?
Yeah.
That usually has me a little bit more bothered and disturbed than anything else. So my thoughts on it. That's all.
Yeah. I have that same thought. What if I'd stopped sooner? I don't know how. I'm not 100% certain how valuable that line of thinking is for me.
Oh, I don't think it's valuable for me either. I think that
Okay,
it's actually
okay.
just no, it's not. There's no like value in it. It's the lament of
Yeah.
here's what I gave up to be where I'm at right now, or
Yeah.
here's what I lost to be where I'm at right now. If I track that, if I wind that clock back further, where do I wind up? What happens? How does this path diverge? Where
Gotcha.
where do I wind up then? Do I still have, am I still married? That'd be a
Mm-hmm.
really big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of nice. So that's where I pretty much constantly wind up thinking about it as I go to that point, instead of just being at this point right now, thinking about where I am right away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
gotcha.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, but you're right.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it is. But it's one of those things where I'm like, I could be. What if what if I'd stopped after my wife had left me? What if that had been the wake up call? I'd still be in a better place. I
Well,
think overall.
in certain extents, I can tell
Well,
you that
I mean,
my thought
yeah,
process doesn't sit there and think, yeah, but then if, this had happened, then my wife would have left me. I'm like, my wife would have left just the same. That's what sucks. But these things keep on getting um, things. Time moves forward.
yeah,
Think about the idea of drinking as always thinking about or reflecting on, or as a cautionary tale of what will I undo by doing this
yeah.
again.
Hmm. Gotcha. Okay. Cheers. Well, that's all I got for alcoholism and sobriety this week. Steve, you brought an idea for gaming and geekery stuff to us. Why don't you take the lead on it, man?
Sounds good. Yeah. So I've come across a complaint, I guess, recently, um, from the Magic the Gathering community, and that's that the makers, Wizards of the Coast, are focusing a lot more on the Commander variant, the Commander format, than they have in the past. They're like a lot of the actually what the last two or three new sets have definitely had cards that are specifically for that format. And this is not sitting well with necessarily everybody in the community. So yeah, it was kind of just made me think about that and think about other games that do the same thing, right? Games that start to cater to maybe one section of the fan base or just one section of uh, their game versus other parts to it. And so yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of what I started thinking about. Like for me, at least in this particular argument, I'm more like I play Commander. That's the format I primarily play it these
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
I don't. I've been out of Standard for years. I dabbled in the tournament kind of scene for a little bit, but not much. Nothing, real. I don't remember if I think I shared the story of my very first tournament that I went to. I played in a vintage, which is where anything kind of goes more or less.
mm-hmm.
All cards are legal, and I got stomped.
Sure.
Kind of turned me off from that. So Commander, became this refuge. However, that being said, I do see where some of these people are coming from, right? I get how if you prefer a certain type and maybe you don't like so, I guess a new version of the game that you enjoy, and you see them putting a lot of effort and energy, it might feel kind of like the thing that you loved is getting phased out a little bit or changing in a way that you may not like. Um, for the record, I don't agree with this. I think that you know Wizards would be stupid not to try to capitalize on it from a business standpoint. Obviously, being that this is the type that I play, uh, I enjoy the heck out of it. Like I like the fact that there's more cards for the format that I play,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I do think that it's not like that. It's such a prevalence that you can't play Standard or you can't play a more competitive format, the one-on-one kind of thing.
Well, I was going to
Those
ask, like,
Yeah, those cards
what's
still
happening
exist.
to Standard? Like, what's happening to regular old Magic the
I don't
Gathering?
I don't think
Like,
much except for that this other format's becoming more popular. And I think that the people
oh
who
no.
exactly, I think it's the people who really enjoy those other formats are kind of wah
Quit being
because
fucking babies.
yeah, how dare you support this thing that's not my thing, right? And I get that to a point, but yeah, it's not like they're not still producing cards for those other formats.
Yeah,
There are cards that don't work well in Commander at all that still get made. So yeah, I don't know. It's a tough complaint.
I'm honestly curious as to what like the market share of Commander is in terms of Magic the Gathering. I'm really, really curious. Obviously, Wizard of the Coast sees something of value that they can gain by putting out that particular product, right? Like
Sure. Yeah.
things that are marketed specifically for that product. But it's not like Commander has had the entirety since the game originated in like 93 or something, 92 or 93, right?
93, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 93, yeah. So it's not like that was a format that existed back then, and as trends evolve, companies react to those trends. Like if you want standard to be the standard, you have to introduce your friends to that game, and it has to be more fun than playing EDH. And
Commander, yeah.
I just I'm not a huge fan of Magic the Gathering
To begin with,
either way. To begin with, like I feel like I've given it the old college try. I've put some time into it, but it's such a big game that getting into it this late in not only my life but in the lifespan of the card game was kind of I always felt like I was just behind the eight ball trying to get into it.
Well,
But I can see the value of a basically limitless back to the very start of the game card catalog for building out and being creative with different lists to play with. I think that is an incredibly evocative and not seductive, but attractive mode of play.
sure.
And provided that Wizards isn't going to just say, "All right, we're done with standard. It's all Commander now." Like things may wax and wane. It might turn out that the next couple of cycles of cards have nothing to do with Commander. In terms of the volume of cards that are currently being put out, you have no idea. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I think, you said two things there that are kind of key, right? Like, one, you're absolutely right. I think it'll absolutely wax and wane. I'm sure at some point, Commander will become less popular, just for any given reason, and then they'll probably focus on it less. So yeah, it will absolutely wax and wane, 100%. And the other thing, though, I think that you kind of touched on, right? So you talked about how you are not super, super invested in it. You've given it a try, you've dabbled in it, whatever. But even in the little bit that you've done, I think that's what makes Commander EDH such a popular format, right? You've invested what you've invested in now. If you bought no other cards for the rest of the time that this game exists, if you stuck with simply the decks that you already play, you have an into this game.
Right.
You can sit down with a casual group, which it's not to say that there isn't a competitive scene for EDH, but it's a kitchen table format is what it started
it's very
as.
beer and pretzels.
Exactly. It's and I think that's what is so attractive about this particular format for a lot of players is because I can just sit down. I don't have to have this big thing. I don't have to have the deck that's got to kill everything because I have to win. And if I don't win, my life is meaningless. I can just play with my friends, and I think that's what has made it so popular, and in that why Wizards has focused on it.
Well, there's also there's the cost incentive of standard, standard.
Oh, completely.
Because the cards rotate out on an 18-month basis. Right?
I don't actually know what it is anymore. It's because it's the way they put out sets is so it's changed from when.
Okay. Anyways, they have sunrise and sunset on cards.
Absolutely.
They'll have a period where a set is new. A set is in its half-life, and then a set that is in its descendancy, right? So that sort of curve and the fact that those sets exist, that's a money generating machine right there.
Completely.
Because there's still the organized play of Standard moving forward. There's still people that are going to shell out money for packs on a consistent basis. With Commander, I don't ever have to buy another card.
Yep.
I have several decks made, and I could still make probably 2 or 3 more.
Sure. And that's not to say that you could never. It's just to say that you don't have to.
Yeah, I don't have to. I don't have to
play
do it.
what you got.
Don't have to spend another penny on cards, and who knows if I even will. I don't know. I one of the things, every single time I see something like this, all I can think is the internet is just the worst place ever.
Oh,
every single time I see something like this, because
completely.
So this is not the only game company that's going through this kind of thing, right? So one of the games that you and I play, War Machine and Hordes, is going through the growing pains of having had a not failed, but definitely not as popular transition from its 2nd edition to its 3rd edition, and now is going through the growing pains of going from 3rd to 4th edition. And they're making some changes that are bringing about a ton of not only fanboys going, oh, all of this sounds like really, really good idea, but also the naysayers on the other side going, oh, this is doom and gloom, everything is the worst. And basically what Privateer Press is doing is introducing the concept of EDH and Standard to War Machine and Hordes. They're going to have specific products that are prime products that will be supported for a period of time in the competitive scene, and then they will sunset them and they'll go into a legacy format where the rules will still be updated. There will still be there will still be attempts to balance things, but it won't be the primary competitive concern of Privateer Press to continue to support those older legacy models. Now, that doesn't invalidate your purchases. You still have access to those, just like Magic the Gathering players still have access to all of those cards that they purchased for the Standard format. They can go play those in EDH now. But the amount of grousing and bullshittium on the internet from people that will not stop complaining and doomsaying just makes me want to release viruses into everything. Everything. All of it.
So it's funny that you say that too, because I actually had a very similar thought, both about the War Machine and just the fact that, like, part of me wonders, because I've don't get me wrong, I've seen it pop up a few times, but is this just that vocal minority kind of, like you said, grousing about it, or is this just that little bit of, like, I have the internet, I have my platform, I'm gonna cry.
Right.
This is the worst. What is one of the ones I read? This is the worst thing that's happened to the game since Planeswalkers. Which I didn't think were that bad either.
They're not. They're just one more thing that you need to learn to play with. Like, it's not that big a fucking deal. Like,
exactly.
If you really want your game to never change, I can give you a list of things that are still the same now as they were when I was a kid. And they
Chutes and ladders.
Yeah, Chutes and fucking ladders. Sorry. Chess, checkers, Go. These are all games that you can go play right now that nobody's updating the rules for.
Yeah. Chess hasn't changed that much in the last few, almost 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's your game. If you don't like changing your
games,
go to chess.
Oh my!
I would offer up Monopoly, but there are so many different versions of Monopoly.
A lot
that's
of
true.
Monopolies.
That's very
I
true.
feel like
and they probably every single time one of those
there's
comes out, they're like,
being...
God damn it, you guys are ruining my Monopoly.
That's Monopoly like saying, purist.
Seriously. That's like saying this poop has spoiled. All right, that's what saying you've ruined my Monopoly is.
I like Monopoly when you.
Yeah, it's not like hotels. I don't know. I guess that maybe there's this thing with Americans where we have this idea that, like, if we bitch enough about a new product we don't like, they'll go back to the old one, like Coca-Cola did.
I mean, here's the thing. If it doesn't sell,
they will.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But my guess is Magic the Gathering Standard format will still sell. EDH will continue to sell. Yep. I have a feeling that Privateer Press's product will hopefully continue to sell.
Just
I
alliteration.
am actually excited about Mark IV. I think that the people that write the rules for that game have had a really tight rule set dialed in for a long time, and the only thing that I wish was more of a focus was a little bit more of a of being able to play a narrative game. So it wasn't so very competitive every single
So
time. Like
a narrative, like Mark is the hero. That kind of a narrative.
Mark IV is the hero. Yes, nicely done, Tiki. No, just so I had this the guy that I met up to play Infinity with last Thursday. He loves a game called Necromunda. Now, Necromunda is a game that is it's put out by Games Workshop. It's probably Games Workshop's best game that they put out because it is so narrative focused. It's like playing a role-playing game where instead of just one dude that you're in control of, you're in control of a whole squadron and their accompanying equipment and the territory that they take, and like there's charts upon charts upon charts, and it's a lot of fun to dig into those. They're not super dense, but there is a little bit of crunch to them. However, some of the rules aren't really perfectly well balanced. And they don't even have like a really good attempt at the asymmetrical balance that you have in most of these kinds of war games, like Privateer Press has put into War Machine and Hordes, where instead of, with chess, it's black versus white, but it's all the same pieces. This is more like rock, paper, scissors, where there is balance, but it's asymmetric, right? The scissors beats paper, but not rock, that kind of thing, right? Well, we were talking about narrative gaming and how I love narrative gaming, but I want a really, really tight rule set around it. Necromunda doesn't have the tight rule set, but it's got all the narrative flavor that you could want. So I'm willing to play Necromunda and put together a force for Necromunda. Because one, the cost of entry is really, really small. Like, of all of the games that I play, probably the lowest cost barrier to entry. Yeah, I would say that's accurate. For Infinity, they don't have much of a narrative focus, but the rule set is really, really tight. So if they just added a little bit of narrative flavor to it, that could be a fantastic way to play that game.
Just gotta mash the games together.
Kinda,
create
yeah.
a new game.
Yeah, kinda. So yeah, I don't know. It's like the loudest 10% of any movement or group is always going to just be an absolute pain in the balls for anybody that just wants to. Why can't you let people enjoy things? Like, what the?
So really quick, with your squad, do you name them like Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, and Mark 4? Is that how that goes?
They get named randomly. Total random generation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is Gary.
Yeah. It's Mark Gary. See what I did there? Mark Gary.
Yeah.
Marky Mark. And his funky bunch. Yeah.
Bunch of guys named Gary.
Bunch of guys named Gary. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily a game company pandering. I just think that most game companies, especially in the United States, see a potential increase in their bottom line and are willing to put out a good product to get to it, and people not necessarily liking the way that it's going are I don't think that those things are necessarily connected in a way that I should give a shit about. Does that make sense there, Steve?
How dare you change my thing?
How dare you? I don't know. What do you think?
Call up the complaint line. Talk to Mark. He'll help you out.
I'm writing a strongly worded letter.
I really want a spider. I want a spider to write the word "Mark was right." Do that for me, some spider.
You know what everyone's going to think is they're going to be like, Mark is amazing.
Mark
and you're
is
like,
amazing.
what about the spider who wrote Mark?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Somebody catch
We gotta
that
bet
spider.
that our friend Mark is really gonna think this is about him. At this
Yeah,
point.
he is. He's gonna be like, man, I bet they're gonna grow a pencil thin mustache too.
They talked about me a lot in this
It was
episode.
an all Mark episode. That might be what I name the episode.
The one where we talk about Mark.
The one where
and
we
he'll
talk
be
about
like,
Mark. Me? Really? Maybe.
Totally do that.
no, not you.
Mark's a good guy. Mark's a good guy. We love Mark.
hmm
We love you, buddy.
But not you. We remember talking about you.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Do you guys have anything else for tonight? Steve?
No, it's a good chat, man.
Tiki, all good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool. Well, like every episode of the Save vs. Poison podcast, we like to shout out to the mutual support groups we hope you turn to in your time of need. Alcoholics Anonymous, AA.org, 212-870-3400. Moderation Management, moderation.org, 212-871-0974. Secular AA, SOS, sobriety.org, 323-693-1633. Smart Recovery, smartrecovery.org, 440-951-5357. And Women for Sobriety, womenforsobriety.org, 215-536-8026, and for family and friends of addicts that could use a little support in a group-type environment, there's Al-Anon Family Groups. That's www.al-anon.alateen.org, or you can get them at 1-888-425-2666. For all of us here at the Save vs. Poison podcast, I'm Will.
I'm Tiki.
I'm Steve.
And we wish you warm, creamy regards. Good night, everybody.
Some pig.
You've just listened to another episode of the Save vs. Poison podcast. If you liked what you heard, please follow us, like, and subscribe on Twitter at @VS_save, on Facebook at the Save vs. Poison podcast, and streaming live on Twitch at twitch.tv/SvP podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, and stay safe, everyone.